Even your relationship with God. It's shocking. You have to check yourself. Thank God they can't see me right now. But qanitatun, they have to be subservient to Allah. Then he adds, hafilatun lil ghayb, guarding, consistently guarding, lil ghayb, for what can't be seen. Now what does that mean, guarding what can't be seen? The first meaning of that is these women have to guard the dignity, the integrity, the respect, and the trust of their husbands when the husband is not around. They shouldn't be talking to their friends about how bad he is, because he can't be there to defend himself. They shouldn't be talking to other men if he doesn't want them talking to other men. They shouldn't be going places he didn't want them to go. Oh, he's never going to find out. He's at work until 6 p.m. He's never going to know. He's completely they're invisible. The daytime, they're invisible. Guys at work or whatever, he's traveling and they can do whatever they want. The first meaning of this ayah is actually they protect themselves from what he doesn't want them to do. And by the way, interestingly enough, hafiz, guardian, is also caretaker in the Quran. Caretaker. That's the first meaning here. The second meaning of lil ghayb, which is profound, is that there are some things you cannot see. You cannot see your husband when he's at work. You can't see your husband when he's traveling. You can't see your husband when he's checking into a flight at the airport. You can't see who he's sitting next to. And you all know what I'm talking about. You can't see that. You can't see the trials and the temptations that this man that's married to you faces when he goes outside. How the women at the office talk to him. How people look at him. Who he interacts with. You can't control any of it. You don't see any of it. But you know what? Even if you don't see it, you can't be blind to it. You have to guard what you can't even see. Elsewhere in the Quran, وَمَا كُنَّا لِلْغَيْبِ حَافِظِينَ. How can we guard over something we can't even see? How can we be careful about something we can't even see? And women are being told, listen up, I know you can't see it, but you better watch for it anyway. You better take care of your husband as if to think that what you cannot see still exists. They have to go out of their way to be good to their husbands, to take care of their needs, to be attractive to their husbands, to be loving and caring to their husbands. They have to do all of these things and then not assume, well, he's ugly anyway, who's going to like him outside? Who's going to look at him? I have to take care of him, whatever. He can't do anything. They develop this attitude. And once that attitude develops in the mind of a woman, she starts demeaning her husband, puts him down and assumes that there is a kind of, well, I don't have to do anything to take care of this relationship. And Allah is countering all of it. Because men try to continuously maintain, take care. It has to be reciprocated on the other end. You have to take care of your husband. And you have to guard for the unseen. You have to know that he might you don't take care of yourself and your relationship with him, you'll lose him. Don't assume that you're going to keep him. You will lose him. And even if you don't lose him explicitly, you might lose him emotionally. He might emotionally divorce himself from you. He may not even look at you with the eyes of love. He may walk into the house with resentment. Why am I walking into this battlefield again? Oh my God, what's she going to say today? If that happens between a husband and the wife, what's the point of a marriage left? When Allah says, لِتَسْكُنُوا إِلَيْهَا, so you go to them so you can find peace. So you can find tranquility. And now you have situations where in a marriage, the only time a man does not find peace and tranquility is when he's around his wife. This is the tragedy on either side. Men not doing their job, women not doing their job. فَالصَّالِحَاتُ قَانِتَاتٌ حَافِظَاتٌ لِلْغَيْبِ بِمَا حَفِظَ اللَّهِ. And the word hifz also, the sisters listen up. In the beginning of my khutbah I said that men share have been given a word of responsibility that is so noble that one of Allah's names goes back to that word, qawwam. I said that in the beginning. And now the final attribute for women is hafizatun lil ghayb. The word hafiz, wallahu khayrun hafizan, is a name of Allah. Hafiz is one of the names of Allah. Inna Allah ala kulli shay'in hafiz. Inna Rabbi ala kulli shay'in hafiz. My master is hafiz over all things. This is one of the shared names of Allah. In other words, this is a divine responsibility for you to guard and safeguard this relationship. And by the way, you never use the word guard unless something is in danger. Never. You don't have to guard something that's not in danger. What is Allah telling women and what is Allah telling men? When men are told qawwam, take care over and over and over again, it actually means if you don't repeatedly take care, it will fall apart. And what are women being told? If you don't watch guard, it'll be destroyed. You'll lose it. It's actually very powerful that both sides have been given this balance. فَصَالِحَاتُ قَانِتَاتٌ حَافِظَاتٌ لِلْغَيْبِ بِمَا حَفِظَ اللَّهِ. The rest of the ayah is this discussion for another time. But the last thing, inshallah ta'ala, that I want to share with you. When it comes to safeguarding, when it comes to being qawwam, it actually takes a serious amount of communication between both sides. Admission of one's own fault. And it comes a point where, there's a point in a relationship where you can fix things. There's a point where you can fix things, but we're human beings. A time comes where you can no longer fix it. It's broken, and it's done. This is why in the next ayah, فَإِنْ خِفْتُمْ شِقَاقَ بَيْنِهِمَا. If you're afraid that a schism, a crack is going to happen between the two of them. Now the ayah is, if you're afraid that a crack might happen, which means a crack has not necessarily happened yet. Then you can get counsel. Then you can get outside help. If you're in a relationship where you're fearing the crack is already showing up, but it's not big enough yet, get outside help. Get other people involved. فَابْعَثُوا حَكَمًا مِّنْ أَهْلِهِ وَحَكَمًا مِّنْ أَهْلِهَا. Get wise, good, sound decision-making people, sensible people from her family and his family involved. Don't get stupid people involved. Don't get people involved that will only make the fight worse and make the situation worse for you and for her. Not those people. Not the people that you complain to and say, I feel you, bro. Yeah, they're all like that. Why don't you come and help me out here as a counselor? No. You don't need extra gloves in the boxing ring. You don't need that. Hakaman, people that will make sound decision, can reasonably talk to both of you. And that can represent her interests and yours. Get outside help. But the power of this ayah is if you're afraid that still hasn't happened yet, if you don't take the right precautions, it might just happen. It might just happen. And it does. And the Quran is realistic about that. The Quran is not like the Christian doctrine of marriage. The Christian view of marriage is a sacred bond until death, and there's no way it can ever be broken. No way it can ever be ended. But in the book of Allah, divorce is talked about so exhaustively, so extensively. Why? Because it's a reality. If you don't take care of it, it'll die. It'll be impossible for two people to live together. You don't want it to come to that point. You want to be able to save it before it gets to that point. May Allah Azza wa Jal protect our marriages, and may Allah Azza wa Jal give support to those who have gone through a divorce, and may Allah Azza wa Jal, like He promises, يُغْنِ اللَّهُ كُلَّ مِنْ سَعَتِهِ, that He will give them independence from His own vastness. What a beautiful gift Allah gave to those who have gone through the difficulty of divorce. Allah will make them independent, and He will give them from His own treasure of vastness. He never says that about anybody, but He talks about that for people who are divorced. They're not condemned people. They're not condemned people. May Allah Azza wa Jal protect our marriages once again and bless them. And may Allah Azza wa Jal give goodness in the hearts of men and women that they are able to live up to this beautiful, beautiful advice that Allah has given them. Barakallahu li wa lakum fil Qur'an al-Hakim wa nafa'ani wa iyyakum bil ayat wa dhikr al-Hakim. الحمد لله وكفى والصلاة والسلام على عباده الذين اصطفى خصوصا على أفضلهم وخاتم النبيين محمد الأمين وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. يقول الله عز وجل في كتابه الكريم بعد أن أقول أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم إن الله وملائكته يصلون على النبي يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما صليت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد اللهم بارك على محمد وعلى آل محمد كما باركت على إبراهيم وعلى آل إبراهيم في العالمين إنك حميد مجيد. عباد الله رحمكم الله اتقوا الله إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر ولذكر الله أكبر والله يعلم ما تصنعون. أقم الصلاة إن الصلاة تنهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر.